Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, I'm always in the marketplace for top ideas, people doing different things, passive streams of income apart from your 9 to 5. So today I have Matt Stafford calling in from California, and he's got an amazing story. He's going to be talking about a senior referral business, coaching, business entrepreneurship. I love these conversations, and welcome Matt to the show. Welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Dr. Christopher. Really appreciate being on your show today.
All my friends call me Chris, so please do the same.
All right, Chris, you got it.
Yeah, tell the audience about yourself, your story, how you got started.
Sure. Our business started in 2018, 5 years ago. I'm a senior referral agent in California, helping seniors to get to a location of their choice. Could be assisted living, memory care. And so we have contracts with all the communities in this area and sometimes just outside the area. So that started in 2018. And then in 2019, what happened was there's two people that wanted to know exactly what we were doing. Most referral agents in this industry don't want to share because they want to give up the market share, right? They don't want to share their information. But I did. I got on a Zoom call for an hour and 15 minutes with two people, and they said, "Hey, tell us what you do." And I said, "Sure." So I did all that. And they said, "Man, this is so good. Can we talk next week?" And without even thinking about it, I said, "Sure, let's do it." And then I went down and told my wife, I said, "Oh man, I'm in trouble." She goes, "What, the call didn't go good?" I said, "They want to do this next week." She goes, "What's the problem?" I said, "Babe, I told them everything I know in an hour and 15 minutes. What am I going to tell them next week?" So anyway, that's how the academy got started. We ended up teaching these two individuals for 5 weeks for no pay. And then it turned into a one night a week for 5 weeks. And now it's like a college course. I got it behind me. That's the website, Senior Referral Business. Senior Home Business is the website. And now we help students in 32 different states across the country to do exactly what I do. So something that I started just by helping two people, which I encourage people to do. Always extend value. Always give what you know to other people. It will come back to you.
Yeah, I love that. So you have you have a senior home referral business, and now you have a course as well. One thing you did talk about is what is
a senior referral agent is someone who helps a senior. The senior could be at home. They could be in skilled nursing hospital, and they're helping them with information to get to their next location, which could be independent living, assisted living, memory care. How you get into the industry is one of three ways. Either A, you already know how to do it yourself. You don't need someone like me or someone else. The second way people get in the industry is they go buy a franchise, which most franchises are $35,000 to $50,000 up front. And then you got $800 to about $3,000 on a sliding scale monthly fee for 5 years, and you're locked into zip codes. Or you can come into the Senior Referral Academy for a fraction of that cost. And we've got tremendous testimonies of students just helping people. You don't need any designations to do this. There are some designations out there to CSA, some great organizations that are out there that I always encourage my students to continue their education, branch out, continue to expand their network. But you don't need any designations right now, any license other than a business license with your local city or county that you live in.
Interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating. So you've done this, created this business, very successful, and now you have an academy and teach people. So I guess their question is, if with entrepreneurship, it can be applied to any area. One thing is mindset. So, people come in with, there's so much information, not much execution, and so people end up procrastinating. So how does the individual change their mindset, succeed as an entrepreneur?
Man, fantastic question. I really appreciate that, Chris, because that is the key to being a successful entrepreneur, is just what you're alluding to, is getting rid of your limiting beliefs. What are your limiting beliefs? There's a lot of different ones, right? Some of you don't think you're good enough. Some of you don't think you have any money. You don't have enough resources. You need more skills, or you just brought up in the wrong family, wrong community, whatever it may be. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that are out there, and you need to get rid of those. And how you get rid of those is essentially seeing the person that you are right now. I mean, what I do each morning, I wake up, I'm extremely grateful for my life. As soon as my 2 feet hit the floor, I'm grateful for this day. God, thank you for this day. And that begins to put me on a firm foundation for my day. And I start believing in a higher power, in God himself within me, to do the very things I need to do. So within each of us, I firmly believe there is a hidden potential that we have in your audience as well. They've got potential. And for the last 5 years or so, they've been struggling with making a move. Do I do this? Do I do that? And what happens is the tendency is, which I did for years, is to overthink. And that's what I did up until 2018. I kept overthinking the situation. Man, I really want to be an entrepreneur. Man, I really want to start my own business. Man, I had all these different things I wanted to do, but what came with all these different things I wanted to do was a whole bunch of excuses. And the thing of it is you can either have 1,000,000 excuses or make $1 million. That's kind of the saying, right? But in your case, in anyone's case, they're just starting out, they're not thinking about $1 million. They're thinking about their first $100,000. They're thinking about financial freedom in the sense that, hey, I can spend time with my family and not have to clock in every day. So there's limiting beliefs. You're going to have to step out and do things, right? So you're going to, and what goes along with this is what I call T. It's an acrostic, TEA. It's having your thoughts, your energy, and your actions congruent with your values and your outcome. So throughout the day, what are you thinking about? And see, and that's where a lot of us lose the battle and begin with is in the mind, right? Limiting beliefs. We lose it in the mind. We start thinking about what we want to do. But then what comes right behind that thought of doing something good is something that's going to happen bad. I'm going to lose something. I'm not going to be able to do it because of fill in the blank, whatever your limiting belief is. And so that thought needs to be congruent with your outcome, meaning you constantly see yourself, you visualize yourself doing the very thing that you're doing. Now, it doesn't just come with just thoughts, right? It comes with the energy behind it, the feeling behind it. I mean, you get behind it and you start getting pumped up. I used to be a former athlete. And so before every game, we used to get pumped up before every game, right? Like super excited. And maybe your audience is that way. They played sports or something that got you excited, right? That's what you want to do about your dream, about your thoughts that are congruent with your values and your outcome. Is you want to have your energy there. And then you've got to apply the action. This is where most people fail, obviously, because they fall short in pulling the trigger and maybe quitting that job, become an entrepreneur, which I always kind of say as a caveat, keep your job and become an entrepreneur on the side first. Now, I couldn't do that with my former position because I used to work for a large community. There'd been conflict of interest, but when it's applicable, I would always encourage somebody to keep their job and have something on the side and build that up until you can replace your current job. But nothing wrong with that, but it's all in what you apply your thoughts, your thinking toward. I mean, are you thinking about defeat or are you thinking about victory? Or are you thinking about times you failed in the past? Or are you thinking about times you succeeded in the past? And that's where a lot of the limiting beliefs go bye-bye, is that you got to latch on, hold on to some past victories. We all have them. We might have a terrible past. We might be, just defeated in a lot of different ways, right? But there's going to be some victories along your path. And you got to remember the time that you were successful. And that's the the untapped and hidden potential within you. If you can kind of go back and think about that past victory you experienced, and what does that mean for today? That should propel you forward to give you the confidence to step out and do anything you want to do.
Yeah, I love that. And I love it's all mindset and visualization. And so one thing you talk about is this making quick, so essentially iteration and making quick decisions, releasing that doubt, staying certain, minimizing overthinking, and increasing execution. Talk about that.
Yeah, you've got to get to the place where you make decisions fast. Procrastination will kill any business concept, idea. It kills most businesses today. They start procrastinating and tackling the tough issues, the tough things that come your way. I used to believe a long time ago that I would just focus on my strengths and not my weaknesses. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I've adopted a new philosophy of focusing on my weaknesses just as well, so I can be more well-balanced. And so if you focus on your strengths and your weaknesses, you become more centered, you become more of a person that's more balanced, right? So going back to procrastination, if you're putting off things, all you're doing is just, when you procrastinate, you're essentially holding on to your current situation and forfeiting your dream. And you're either going to sacrifice what you have now for what you want in the future, or what you have in the future will become your sacrifice. It's either or. And so procrastination, you got to get to the mind, get to the place where you go, I got to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm super motivated to do this. But then you got to start applying these disciplines in your life. You got to have these habits in your life. People today all want to look for the quick fix, the quick script, the quick, easy way to do something. What's the secret funnel that's out there that's going to, propel my business forward? What's the secret sauce in doing this? And it really comes back to you. It comes back to us developing the person that we are. And that hit home not too long ago for me, going back to the gym about a year ago, going back and getting centered with myself. And that's where I take care of these limited beliefs, is going to the gym. But procrastination, it's hard to procrastinate when you get up early and you start doing the right habits. Because in life itself, right, it's mindset, skill set, habits. It's those three things. So you got your mindset right, the skill set will come through learning, whether it be books, whether it be classes, whether it be people that you're in industry that can teach you, self-development, looking stuff up on the internet, whatever it may be. But then if your habits are not right, then you're going to start going back to what you used to do. And it's easy to do. It's very easy to do. I fought with procrastination for years. And again, that's why I didn't start my business till 2018, because I could say all this stuff now, but I could, hear someone say, man, it took you long enough. I'm 54. So 2018, 5 years ago, Matt, why did it take you to 49 years old to do this? Because I was doing the very things I teach now not to do. Don't procrastinate. Don't give up on your dream. Don't have a limited mindset. Move forward and do what you want to do. So it takes steps. And once you do it, you've got to do something. You can hear people talk about a 5-second rule or whatever it is out there. But it's when you make your mind to do something, you just got to do it right then and there. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're struggling getting out of bed in the morning. As soon as you wake up, let's say you don't have an alarm clock. I haven't used an alarm clock in 20 years. So I don't use alarm. I just wake up. I wake up very early. But let's say you as soon as you wake up in the morning, whatever time that is, give yourself 5 seconds to turn over, get out of bed, put your feet on the floor. Start just doing stuff immediately, because everything within you is going to cry out, oh, I need more sleep. Oh my God, no, I can't get up now. Especially when you turn, look at the clock and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You go, oh no, it's not the right time. God, you do not want me up right now. You want me to get some more sleep. And it may be the very hour and the very time you get up and something gets going. So you just got to step out and start doing it. It's no easy, quick fix, but it takes discipline, and it's repetition. It's doing the same thing over and over again throughout the day. And that's why it's so important to have your morning routine in place.
Everybody I've talked to, entrepreneurs, they all wake up early, they have a morning routine, something that gets them in the flow and the mood, and they execute. So they take action, they less talk, more doing, almost 98. So one thing is, a lot of people, they have 95s, pretty comfortable, but they're like, there's more, or they realize they're not in control. So, what do you suggest to someone who's struggling to take that first step, to take that leap of faith, start their business, side hustle? Tell us more.
It always comes back to why. Why do you want to do something? Why do you want to take that first step? Why do you want to take the step into entrepreneurship? Because it's really not for everybody. There's a lot of discipline. I'm so appreciative of you just said a few seconds ago about the other entrepreneurs talking about getting up early, discipline, all different factors that it takes to be successful in this industry, because a lot goes on, including for myself, a lot of the glitter, the spotlight, the showing of the car, the houses, the trips, and all that's fun and games, and that's the fun part, but there's a lot of work behind it. And so you need to count the cost. But taking that first step, you have to get through a why. When I took the first step back in 2018, I used to work for a large community. My wife and I were driving back from LA to Central California, and I heard about these local referral agencies out there. I'm like, my gosh, I got thinking about it for weeks before I mentioned to my wife. On the way back, I mentioned it to her. Right out of her mouth, she goes, do it. I said, whoa, what, babe, we mean do it? Babe, you don't understand. I need to quit my job to do this. She goes, you would be fantastic at this. Babe, you don't understand. If I'm not fantastic at this, I'm going to be in the unemployment line in about 4 or 5 months. And we're going to lose some things that we normally like to have. Babe, you would be amazing. Do it. There was that support there, but there was that why. And the why was, for me, was family, my future, but also I had a sense of urgency. I had no plan B. And that's what you need to be successful as an entrepreneur. Have no plan B. Tony Robinson talks about a time when a person who takes a boat to the island, you've got to burn the ship. You cannot look back. And too many people get into entrepreneurship, they have a plan B. They always come to me, and I get a lot of them that come to me, want to join the academy, and some do. And they immediately, start talking about, if this doesn't work, I can always do this. And that's the wrong mentality. You're not going to be successful as an entrepreneur if you always have a plan B. It's got to be a plan A. And this is it. Doesn't mean things don't work out. Doesn't mean there hasn't been plenty of people in the past that tried something and failed. I don't look at it as failing. I look at it as learning. I look at it as something that I tried, didn't succeed. I've learned from it. Now I'm moving on. But you've got to be able to attach a why to it. Family, your future, whatever it may be. I mean, it could be you have older parents, you want to take care of them. It could be you want to take that elaborate trip. You want to move to a bigger house. You want to get a nicer car. I would get something that's close to you in your heart that's going to motivate you, because that's going to be the pull each and every day when you roll out of bed is the why. When I get up at 3:34, 4:30 in the morning, whenever I wake up, because again, I don't use an alarm clock, it's the why that motivates me. And that's what's going to keep you going. So you have a why that's attached to it. You'll take that first step and you won't look back. And what's going to happen is when you have a why that's attached to your purpose, because it's always purpose over pleasure, right? So if you got a why that's attached to it, as soon as you hit turbulent times, as soon as you hit times that are not going your way, right? Lack of sales, lose your best client, can't really get the business off the ground and even started, you're kind of feeling like you're lost, discombobulated. The why is going to keep you centered. The why is going to keep you focused and moving on. And so, you know what? I didn't start this 2 weeks ago, 6 months ago to quit. I'm in it for the long haul, and you've got to play the long game. That's the biggest thing to be successful. I'm 5 years into the business. A lot of your businesses, I don't know the statistics, but a lot of them fail and falter after 1 year, right? After 3 years, most of them go bye-bye. Here we are in the 5th year, pressing on toward our 6th, and it's just not looking back. That's the biggest thing. No plan B. Have your mind made up. You're single focused, laser focused on what you want to do.
Very great conversation. I know you referenced Tony Robbins, but what other books or resources, personal development for business owners, would you recommend that have inspired you, helped you?
Man, I got one around my desk right now. I didn't know you were going to ask that question, but the best one I could recommend right here is by Patrick Bet-David, Your Next 5 Moves. Read it. I've read this. You can probably see on the inside. I've highlighted a lot, underlined most. And what I do is, it's kind of a tip too, because I've read this thing from cover to cover. But what I do is I go back and I read the underlined, highlighted version of the book, so I can read the whole book now, at least the parts that really spoke to me the first time. I could read it in a day or two, right? Or maybe a couple hours if I'm devoted to it. But this is so key though, your next 5 moves, because in my business, I've got the referral agency and I've got the senior home business, right? The academy. And each of these 2 businesses, every day I've got questions on my wall. I got these marker boards in my office. And over there is, I need to move each business 1 step closer, taking a step, right? So one question is, for each business, what's the next move? So here I got my agency at this place, whatever this place is. You're just beginning, you're just starting. What's your next move? Make that move without hesitation, without thinking about it, without procrastinating. Make the move. Right? It's like moving checkers on a checkerboard or chess pieces on a chessboard. It's player versus player. You got to make that move. Next one is, and I get this from Patrick Bet-David, is, and this is for long-term vision, because I used to do goals and things like that. I don't do any goals or anything like that. I do that. What's the next move? And in each business, I've got, what's my next 5 moves? And contemplating on the next 5 moves will keep you ahead of your competition, will keep you ahead of the game, and will keep you, it'll give you an edge. It's kind of the late Kobe Bryant edge, or the Michael Jordan edge, or LeBron James, whoever you think is the best in the world in NBA. It's that edge, and it becomes from being prepared. And somehow preparation just loves success. It just loves it. It just is it. And success loves preparation. They go hand in hand, right? It's just when you're prepared, you're more confident. And when you're prepared, you're competent. You know what you're doing, and that breeds the confidence. But yeah, this will be the number one book here that your next 5 moves. Should be on every entrepreneur's desk.
Awesome. I haven't heard of that one. I'll check that out once we finish. But let's thank Matt for coming onto the show. And I love this whole idea of your passion and success and taking action and grit and hard work. And how can people contact you, follow you, reach out to you, learn more about the academy?
Absolutely. You just go to seniorhomebusiness.com. You could text me directly, 559. I'm all over social media. If you want to go to YouTube and check out some free videos, just look up Senior Home Business on YouTube. There's probably about 400 videos. Most of them pertaining to the senior referral business. There's probably about 50 to 75 of them just pertaining to business. If you want to learn more about my agency, you can go to StaffordSeniorSolutions.com. Look that up. I'm all over LinkedIn. There's over almost 12,000 followers on LinkedIn. You can go to Matt Stafford for real. I think that's what it is on there. And same with Instagram as well.
Yeah, and for all the audience out there, Matt's resources will be in the links and show notes. Be sure to check out that book, Your Next 5 Moves. I'm going to check it out as well. And with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris. Appreciate it.